and with McWhorter, might be able to use some of the evidence they compiled, so their bill would be less at that time. Yeah, Phil's would like to say that.
Yeah, please, Phil.
If you'll notice in their proposal, in the first proposal, that Sarah is, it says in here, prior to co-founding the firm, Sarah was an audit partner with one of the nation's largest firms, specializing in governmental audit and other consulting services. It also says that would be a Frommel, who is the other partner in this firm. They both work for McWhorter as forensic auditors. So you've got a lot of expertise here for a lot less money, I believe.
Hey, look, I'm for saving money, and they're a good firm. I just think we need to be cognizant if they run into an issue, they're going to stop and they're going to say, they're going to throw the flag. And if we want to continue with prosecutory type things or recovery type things for our bonding, we're going to have to bring in Blattery or someone.
If they find something that looks amiss, can't you at that time contact the state police? And then the state police will do the investigation, and then it won't cost the county any money?
You know, Dan, that's a good question.
Is it possible we need our state attorney to ask that question to? I would think so.
That was my understanding in the past. If they found something, we could turn that over to the state police. The state police would then conduct the investigation, get their people in, and go from there.
They are basically not our auditors. They are more like a financial director for us. So they can continue to do the work that we've already subcontracted them to do because they're working in a different capacity than an audit. So.
I think they have a disclaimer in here. I know I read it, I can't find it now, but they have a disclaimer that says that what they find can't be used evidence for prosecution.
Right.
It's a disclaimer. But they could turn it over to another auditing agency so that they have a place to start and actually look at without going through everything. Yeah. So that would be the problem there is if you try to use what they find, to me, turn it over to the state police, you still can't use that. I mean, it's not been validated by an actual forensic audit.
But if it was turned over to McWhorter and they found out that there was, then could McWhorter go to the state police?
That answers Dan's question.
Yeah, so it really does.
Yeah, I mean, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get, I think we're trying to get comfort and assurances that we don't have other issues. And, you know, I think we're all trying to also save the taxpayer a dime if we can.
Absolutely.
If we engage these folks, we know we have to, you know, we say to ourselves, if other issues are uncovered and we want to proceed with prosecutory and damage recovery on our bonding, then we're going to have to engage a firm like McWhorter that can move it forward. Okay? You know, I'm comfortable with that as long as the rest of the board is, because I think we're trying to, you know, save the taxpayer money, but also get assurances as we look at these accounts and look at the areas that McWhorter said in their phase one could be weak and should be looked at. You know, I think that if there's other issues, we're not going to have any choice but to use the big gun. But do we need to use the big gun up front and spend all that big gun money if nothing else is found? I think that's really what we're saying to ourselves here. If we can get assurances with the little gun, great, without using the big gun. But if we do find issues, we're going to have to bring the big gun in. Right? I mean, as long as we're all clear on that.
We're taking the money from the
The liability fund.
liability. And how much is the bond for?
What's the question?
Mike Bond.
200,000.
200,000.
200,000.
Hopefully we can get 100,000 back if he's bonded, I would assume.
Gregg McHugh said 200,000.
200?
200,000. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we did put money in the budget this year in the liability fund for forensic audit, right, Dan?
Right, so
I believe we did that. So, because we planned on it. We said we may need to do this to refinance our bonds, you know, and so the money's there. And I thought, was it 85,000?
That was to include both the audits.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
But I know we brought it up.
We increased
brought
it
it up.
in case we have other expenses.
Yeah.
we thought we might need.
Well, then why don't we make a motion to move this to the board meeting to
Approve to engage them and
to engage the Bonsack group, knowing that we're going to ask them to look at those specific accounts, and we're going to ask them to pick up where McWhorter said there were weaknesses, and see what they find out. And then, could they give the board a monthly report?
I'm sure they could.
An open, so that everybody knows what they're finding or what they're seeing?
Yeah, because we're not in the situation we were last time where we had to
Right.
press
It's
charges.
totally open now. You know, we don't, so I'd like full transparency, you know, with what they're seeing.
With the letter that we received from McHugh, and I know the sheriff has talked to me about this before in the past on the telephone phone. Would we be better off having them start with that particular fund?
I would almost think that one would be a good
Well,
one.
you know what?
That's because at that time,
It kind of seems like we've got
involved.
45,000 and 90,000, there's like a $45,000 hole somewhere that somebody's saying doesn't make sense.
Yeah, right.
Sure, that'd probably be, you know, let's start with the funds that Mike had total control over, but let's not forget, Forensic One identified these property taxes, because some people pay cash, don't they, for their,
Yes.
and that's a problem, you know?
And
It was a problem.
Do we still have, we don't do cash anymore, right?
Well, we do, but they get a receipt, computer generated receipt.
Well, I'd like to see us
Right
get
down.
away from cash altogether.
Yes,
I just hate,
it's-
I just
Put
hate cash.
directly into the system.
No.
Okay.
At least everybody gets a computer generated receipt and it's recorded on the computer.
Well, that's good.
so automatically.
We didn't used to do that, right?
No.
Ann?
Right, and another problem you're gonna run into there is the fact that everybody used one password. So trying to, once that gets checked out.
Already done.
Well,
Yeah, I know that's been changed.
Are we comfortable moving forward with this? I think it's prudent to the taxpayer, but we also have the big gun ready to go if we run into an issue. Because if we run into an issue, there's two things we want to do: additional prosecution and recovery, and bond recovery. Those are two things that are our goals. If those aren't our goals, then forget it. Don't do it. Don't do it. But I think we'd like to know really, right, Larry, what was taken, and recover as much of it as we can. So I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We've got claims, how much, folks? What's the number? It's somewhere here. Somebody help me.
August ninth.
Is there?
605,000?
Yeah, that was on the statement, wasn't it?
25?
Yeah.
No.
No.
What page is that on?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 605, yeah, that ties back to the claims for the Beth gave us, which I thought it would. So we got claims of 605. That's a heavy month of expenses, folks.
The general fund claims were down about 20,000 from last month.
Well, that's good to hear. All right, I make a motion to approve $605,526.11. Is there a second?
I'll
made
second that.
motion. Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Any other business non-action items come before the committee? Hearing none. Public comment. Please keep to the agenda if you've got comment.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I just
Yeah,
wonder
yeah.
about the materiality of what we're looking at with going forward. You know, we're not chasing $20 with 100,000, or we're not chasing 50,000 with 20,000. I mean, what are we looking at as a potential loss here? Do the accounts show how much money is total there, and what might possibly be missing? Is there any indication? I mean, you know, I guess what I'm looking at, if we're going to spend any money to chase something, what are we chasing? Are we chasing more than we're spending.
Can I say something here, Ted?
Sure.
Please.
On this sheriff's report, doing with the phone bill or phone account, the sheriff's department thinks they should have 90,000 in that, and the fund balance is 17,000. So they had 45,000, and the next year they thought it should have been 90, and it came out to 17 in their records. So we got, what's that, $73,000 right there, we've got discrepancy up again. And 80 hours of work by this firm we talked about engaging would be $6,000.
That's all I'm,
Yeah,
that's all I'm.
that's just one example.
I
The
understand.
other thing too, is that we're actually looking at putting this in place on a permanent basis, are we not? Or to have the quarterly.
This is a permanent, something we're just planning on doing permanently.
Right, so it's not like we're looking at spending extra money, we're looking at putting this in place to do it all the time anyway, to keep us straight quarter to quarter.
Yeah, I think that what we did tonight was bring in much stronger internal controls on a quarterly basis.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm looking at going in the past, what you're looking at, you know, if you've got several indications of accounts like the quarter just raised, then you're talking about spending some money to find some money. But if the account's not worth anything, use materiality.
Well, Ken, I think Jeff gave a good illustration.
Well, yeah.
But they really answer your question big picture. I don't think any of us know.
Unless we do this, we're not gonna know. I mean, we know there's some discrepancies, but we don't know how much. I mean, we're gonna find that out, you know.
I think this is a good step forward. I think it's responsible. I think we've been responsible in how we're going forward, and not using the big gun unless we have to. And if we have to, we have to, and that's a decision that this board will make with public input. You have public opinion, and we appreciate it. Talked to you this afternoon, I appreciate your comments, Ken. But any other public comment? Motion adjourned?
Make that motion.
Second? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Probably not.